All right, huh? Oh, that's loud. I'm a little louder. Right, check. Can you hear me? All right, how's that? Test. Good? Can you hear me in the back? All right, 50 years, huh, Dick? Pretty crazy. And actually, before I start, Jeff here is my marketing guy, Jed Copham, and he dug through the files. Actually, when I bought the track, I come across in the old tower a file cabinet full of stuff. A couple of years missing, but brought it over, and I've been trying to add to it. And Jeff dug through the archives and put together this piece. So right out here, my razor is a whole bunch of these magazines, 50th anniversary. We haven't done an actual magazine in a while, so feel free to grab one of those. It's right in the razor here. Also in the box, we do have our schedule as well. So, like Jeff said, he had a hard time picking. We only had so many pages, and we could have made a big book with all the history this place has. And he squeezed it into a few pages, picked the highlights, and it's been a while since we've actually had a magazine. I don't know how you did it looking back through the years. I mean, there were magazines like this all the time. And somewhere along the Colonel days, it switched to flyers, little pamphlets, and we kind of continued on with that. But it's been quite a ride, and actually Dick here can kind of inspire me that, you can survive this place too. So there are days I'm not sure. But no, it's been awesome. It's been 13 years for my family at the helm. I come from printing, less than 13. 20 years printing. I watched my dad start a business. I was his fourth employee. 20 years, tremendous growth. I mean, man, moment machine. He hit the mark, and 20 years, and ultimately sold his business. And I had to do something with my life. And we were talking. We knew the end was kind of coming, and I had spent a couple of years trying to do. We discovered Autobahn in Joliet, a new track that had developed, kind of a country club, and we set off to kind of do that in the metro, and at one point, during the first one, I did hear BIR, the Colonel was trying to sell BIR, and we talked to him, and he threw out a price, and I went off on another track to try and build a North Star in North Branch. Somewhere along that line, being public enemy number one now in the second county, run out of there with pitchforks and torches, and the Colonel is still trying to sell this place. He dropped his price significantly lower, which was still pretty high, but ultimately, we did come to a deal, and it's been a pretty wild ride since. No regrets, definitely. It's been awesome. But I could use someone like Dick, because so far I can't. Thanks to Lucas Oil, has been a great sponsor. They were here when I got here, but sponsorship is not my thing. Thank goodness that my family had some wherewithal, because sponsorship is a tough thing nowadays. NASCAR, IndyCar, and Dick, I don't know, you must be a heck of a salesman to do what you did. I heard a lot of those stories. It's fun to hear from you. I've heard a lot of those things on how Dick did it without a budget. And I've been fortunate enough to have a family that's have the wherewithal, that I'm not like at the mercy of a bank. My dad's pretty understanding. Me and him have a good time here, and so that's definitely been a bonus. But right from the get-go, we bought BIR, and we were supposed to buy it in like May or June, and the Colonel was just I tell you Colonel stories. I met the guy for 2 hours, and I'll say that was about an hour and a half too much. 2 hours too much. And we can have fun ripping on the Colonel, because holy smokes, did he do this place injustice. But, Marty Carlson picks us up, and mayor of Flint, Michigan, Flint, right? They're in good shape, right? But he's the mayor of Flint, Michigan, picks us up, and Jeff just heard me tell the story the other day, but he picks us, Marty Carlson, his henchman from here, picks us up in this big van, says, Mayor Don Williamson to the rescue, We're driving in Flint, and you're driving, and Marty's talking, and you see, Bridges, and Peach Williamson. And like, shit, we're gonna get shot. And then you meet this trusty old SOB, and he's like, you got money? I got money. He's like chain smoking, he's narcoleptic. I mean, it was pretty pathetic. And somehow he's still kicking, though. This was 13 years ago. Do you think so? Oh, God, let's hope not. But anyway, yeah, one point I even heard the story of if you're over this tall, you're an adult. That one always made. He had Jabba the Hutt standing at the front with his stick, like, you're an adult. But that was probably right before he dropped the 12 and under 3 thing, right? So anyway, enough of the Colonel. Heck with him, right? Upwards and onwards. So 2006, we take over. We barely got it done before Nationals. We had 10 days. It was supposed to be months, and it was just one thing after another with due diligence. And I think even a year later, you had to sign off on a deed on something for us. Thank you very much. Yeah, on the house or even that front property. I mean, it was a a big undertaking taking this place over. It was a stack of documents about yay tall. You know, it was, all the contracts, and yeah, it was, I had no idea. You know, I'm a mechanical engineer and been working in a production environment for 20 years, and also you take this over. It's been a rude awakening, and I've been racing here since the mid-90s, drag racing, enjoying it. It was pretty strict back then, and not like now. I think you should have fun here, but back then, boy, it was pretty tight. You wouldn't just do a burnout anywhere, or you're in trouble. But anyway, 2006, we had 10 days before the Nationals, and if we didn't close then, I probably wouldn't have bought it. I mean, I was ready to walk away with that guy. I was so frustrated. But we took over, and I mean, the place was in shambles. All I could really do was mow the grass and clean the toilets, and that first year was a mess. Me and my wife standing over here at the corner watching this mess of vehicles going, oh man, we're just going to get sued. We're so stupid. And honestly, Nationals is one of those necessary evils. It does help pay some bills, and I love it. It's awesome, but really I'm here. I took over BIR because I like what you guys do. I'm all about amateur enthusiasts. I'm all about just a passion for motorsports. This is my driving range. You can have your golf. I do like anything with a motor. The golf carts are kind of fun, but. So anyway, 2006, we did take over. I thought the drag program was pretty good. We knew road racing was about in shambles, and my vision with my prior endeavors, I hooked up with track designers and was really looking to try and fix BIR. Then once I set my sights on BIR, then if there's no going back, we made the sit dog. Anyway, that year was a little bit of a year at Harvard. The first couple of years, I guess, were a couple of years at Harvard financially, and but I did learn a lot too. And the first, like you say, it was small clubs. I mean, you've got a single track, a small drag race, a small road race, and you get to the end of the year, you look at the revenue, and actually what the Colonel showed us wasn't even close. He was lying about a lot of stuff. It's like, wow, we're pretty short here, and the first few years, just to get by was wheelbarrows full of money. And my dad, we're both scratching our heads, and the hope was to get a dual events going. I mean, I tell a lot of people, we built the concourse, and it was a lot to do with safety. There was no way 9, 10, and that huge straightaway, turn one, when we looked at how to make the original track FIA, it just really wasn't. I mean, we'd have to move Johnson Road for the proper run out, or put the wall right on the track, and it's a complicated thing. You think it's just, track designing is fun and easy, but it's a complicated animal when you're working to those standards. And, when we started, I started in on it and designed the comp course. I penned it and had some issues. In 2007, I was at Road America, and I'm sitting at the kink, and I was looking at a couple areas of my track going, I don't want to make a kink, And I got a hold of Martin Fake, and he came in, and we had, it was 2 years, a good year of serious debate. Turned 12, I mean, a 90 left at pit out in front of a bridge. And it's crazy, And we hear, you got the world's fastest track and the world's slowest track all in the same place, right? As they were looking at this, but actually, and as a driver and driven many tracks, the original track is fun. I love the high speeds. In a high horsepower car, there's nothing like it. But in a lot of the cars, and most sports cars today, I'll take the comp course. I mean, the twisties, and we got a little work to do on 11 sync, and we're going to work to figure that out. But the comp course is a blast, making better drivers of us all, because it challenges you. Turn 13, decreasing off camber, and Martin was instrumental on tweaking a lot of it and helping us with the runouts, and then about 2007 also started the quest for wall and fence. And I tell you, 10 years of hauling wall, moving wall, making wall. I mean, you look around here, there's 6.5+ miles of wall, and every one of those walls over 2 yards of concrete, and big rebar basket, and cables, and PVC. And it's been an undertaking. And about 2 years ago, we finally poured our last one. So that was somewhere out here it's initialed by us. And that was a huge milestone there. And we're still putting up some of the last fence. I am hoping by the end of this year to get the FIA Level 2 approval. Where we go from that, once you have the approval, that just gets you an easier way into racing. It's still making deals. Like I say, it's getting them in here. It's figuring out how to cover the sanction fee, selling sponsors, selling tickets. And, Trans Am was great. I loved having them here for a lot of years. It kind of broke my heart that they had some ownership changes. I don't know if there were some things with Gerhard getting out. and the fact that they did pull the plug here this year, and also in Canada, 2 races they dropped, and was pretty sad to see that happen. But you know, we're still looking. We're gonna find our niche in road racing here for sure. We'll keep looking.
F4.
F4, yeah. You know, I mean, that's an option. I don't know. We'll get some cars here. I mean, really, I've got my sights. I mean, my dream is really like World Challenge level is about where we go to, right? Somehow, and there's no promises, but I would love to see Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Porsches and Vipers. You know, Trans Am was just Mustangs and Jets, right? I mean, the World Challenge, it's like, it's Trans Am of the 60s, you ask me. It's all the cars that you drool over, all battling out on the racetrack, whether you know the drivers or not. There's some badass cars out there. So, you know, we're working towards it, no promises. You know, bikes too. We've had CRA's been a great partner. Thank you, CRA. You guys have been awesome. AMA, I don't know. They're not even really it anymore, are they? I mean, World Superbike. You know, I hate to say it, AMA's kind of in the shadows nowadays, and they're still really expensive. So, you know, I don't know, just no movement on that side. But really, what it comes down to, anyway, I'm perfectly fine with all of us amateurs just out here having fun. I mean, that's why I'm here. I love it. You know, both on the drag strip, both on the road course, and even some of our new events. I mean, we're getting kids nowadays. You know, they drive turbo 4-cylinders, but you know, we're getting kids, and they're coming out. And took when I was a kid coming here. It was really illegal. You wanted to whip a shitty, right? Whip a donut, sorry. And you know, the kids nowadays, they took what was illegal for us, made it a sport. And now they are all about tire smoke and burning rubber, you know, and I love it, man. And that's actually taken off. I mean, that's our second curve. But you know, things like Power Cruise, you know, the Australian Cruising Car Show has been awesome. I mean, we're finding our second curve in some of these events. Lakes Jam taking off. And Lakes Jam, we got a concert. You know, we've got some really good names here over the years, and at the same time, we got a motorcycle road race. We got snowmobile water skips going on. We got car show. We got drifting. We got, they're even lawnmower racing. You know? They race ovals. I said, hey, you want to race lawnmowers? I'll give you each an acre of grass. See who can They didn't think that was funny. But you know, it's all fun, right? It's got a motor, we'll race it. I'd even hop on a lawnmower if it was all about racing it. So. A lot of grass to mow here. So anyway, it's been a wild ride at the helm. You know, hard to believe 10 years ago was the 40th. You know, and we put together quite a few things on the 40th. John Jefferson. I mean, we had Bobby Unser and Chris Economaki here, and you know, we had some stuff happening. And when the 50th came around, I had big plans. Fortunately, my travels over spring break left me fairly ill and not in the right mind, so I've been missing a lot of things. So I think this party would have been a lot better had I not gotten sick. I'm coming out of it now, finally got some medicine, feeling much better, getting my head back on, starting to get caught up, but it's been a trying 2018 for us, so both me and my wife both got sick. And you know, if we travel overseas, I'll tell you what, if you're ever traveling overseas, learn from me, just drink beer or anything out of a bottle. Don't drink. No, I deserve to get sick, I guess. So, but anyway, we're coming back now, and unfortunately, like this year, we had some really cool, grandiose plans, and you know, we tried to get some, but celebrities are hard to get, and we need to find. I mean, everybody's getting older, right? I am too. I'm starting to feel my age. I'm not Iron Man anymore, but right, it's all about just trying to stay young. I'm out here trying to have fun and enjoy it, and you know, I got to work some too, but I got to have fun being here. Otherwise, yeah, that's why I'm here. You know, I'm also a customer as well as the owner. So I'm not only the president, I'm also a customer. Yeah, so anyway, appreciate everything you guys do, and it's been fun to watch road racing. You know, coming back here, it's been a little bit slower than I'd hoped, but you know, this last license school was sold out. Actually, Gary's starting another license school, and you know, I mean, it's a fun thing. Playing with cars is great, and we need to enjoy it while it lasts. Because pretty soon we'll have cars out there just racing themselves. Definitely 3,000, right? It actually would be kind of fun. I would think it would. I'm actually looking forward to autonomous racing and, you know, getting into electric cars and, I mean, other alternate fuel sources. And, I mean, that could be some of our second curve here besides just hammering to death the internal combustion engine. But you know, love it. I definitely love it. And appreciate everything you guys do and all the volunteers. Thank you guys for long hours for SCCA and LOL and the history with LOL. I mean, part of the reason this is going on with LOL is because from what I know, LOL is the group that was here 50 years ago. I mean, it was, you know, it was this group that really was the forefront and really George Montgomery's dream to have a racetrack and have fun, but ultimately LOL was here, You know, and CRA picked up early on, NHRA fairly early on, snowmobile racing and racing everything. But and hopefully, you know, another 50. I've got a few more good years left here in me, a few more than that, and you know, still got young kids. So, you know, someday I want to retire in Florida myself. But until then, I'm hoping to make BIR last another, you know, 50 years. This should be a 100-year business, and after that, it's not my problem. So. All right, and thank you guys. I appreciate it. And don't forget, we've got these 50th magazines that are in the razor right there. So on your way out, pick one up. You know, we haven't had many commemorative stuff, so and we're gonna hopefully do some more of this stuff. So make sure you grab them on your way out. They are in the back of the razor. We got some questions back here.
Across the country, flaggers and all these tracks. People that are amazing. The track owner here actually caters just about every race he can. Because track owners are guys who down suits and stock portfolios and never drive too often. And it's just great to see you involved in the track.
Thank you. And I don't know another track operator anyway. I mean, actually I do. We go to track operator meetings, and you're right, I'm a misfit all the way. Question back there?
Can you consider aluminum recycling in the future?
We tried that. We had cans out, and all of them filled up with garbage. At the track, you want to run the track, you want to come here and have fun, I try and work with you. And that's, I think, been some of my successes. I try and say yes to about everybody within reason. You want to come here and have fun. So I would love to see it winter time. However, I'm not going to sanction it. I'm not going to fund it. That about killed me in 2000. I did 3 winters, and I couldn't focus on the summer. I mean, you go right from summer right into winter. The last year here, 2007-8, I had a regional snowcross, we had a pro snowcross, we had a cross country, we had 2 ice car races, we had a dog sled race, a couple other things, and I lost more money that winter than the rest of them combined. So, unfortunately, it's tough business here in the winter. I wish we could do something. Find auto manufacturers want cold tire testing or weather testing. We have cold weather. But yeah, it's been tough. So winter time, I don't know, it's been nice. A lot of planning. We're doing a way better job planning the next year in the winter, not having to kick our butt all winter long. But it's kind of the nature of the beast here. It's feast and famine in Brainerd. And it is kind of a lonely place here in the winter. I do know that. But beautiful in the summer, and I love it all year long. So.